I think you need to commit to some specific niche or offer for like 3 to 6 months at least, right? Because as you said, many people think they have a great offer, but then somebody else's readers like, this is not a great offer at all. If you stick with something for 6 months and actually work on it every single day, 2 hours a day at least, and taking action, not just watching videos, right? Then it would be very hard not to see results.
One group did a voice AI coach where basically you would set out the purpose and then this voice AI would call you and say, hey, David, what's up? How's it going? And then you would basically had these really cool prompts in the background and it'd be an incredible conversation you could have and you could like talk about anything and it could think about it could replace therapists. It could be, you can imagine the possibilities. They made literally over $2,000 in less than 30 days. Cool guys, so welcome to the podcast, David and I. You may recognize David. He just reached a cool milestone, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Congratulations, my guy. In my school community recently, we've been really blessed with the number of guests we've had talking about things like YouTube automations, faceless automations, ads. Thematically though, it's a lot to do with making money on AI. So I'd love us to get a little bit deep about what are we seeing at the moment with the people that are actually making money with AI, and just kind of run through that a little bit. So I think big picture, the way that I think about it, so I'll just set the kind of context for the audience. This is the best way I've heard it described when we think about the AI stack. We have chips at the bottom, right? Then we have our language models. Then we have applications. That's like our big context, right? David, what you're seeing at the moment, I guess, most is in the applications layer. Where are you seeing for your average, your bro that wants to make money with AI, where do you think a lot of that activity is happening? Because people aren't creating chips. I mean, that's like your big industry, but for a typical person that wants to make an income, it's in the applications layer.
I mean, chips and models are basically out of reach for most people. You could take like technically fine-tuned models for relatively cheap, but even that takes a skill set and you have to rent GPUs, so it's not the easiest. So for all people watching, essentially, we're talking about applications. The difference I see between people who are struggling and who are making money with AI is the ones that are struggling are inventing new products or services. They're trying to imagine like, I have AI and I wanted to use this and I'll sell this to these people. It's like, okay, in theory it can work, but the people who are actually making money solve a real problem that already exists and already has some solution or product, but they just make it faster, better, or cheaper with AI. And that's how to make money, not invent some theoretical product or service that somebody surely will like. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Dude, I agree. AI is kind of like, it's like on Grand Theft Auto, like I give you the best, fastest car on the planet, but bro, if you don't know how to drive, you're still not gonna like win the race. You've got to nail down the basics. And I think I see a lot of people who do want to do the get rich quick stuff, but I think it's worth remembering that like the fundamentals of how you make money, if you think about making money slow, you want to win over the long term. You don't want to be like a flash in the pan. I think that's it. And like the most inspiring thing I've realized is that most people don't do the work. So the technology is phenomenal, but actually you've got to put the effort in and get it done. Like that's like, and I know that sounds really trite to say, guys, but like that's like one of the truths that I've come to realize. Even when I met Alex Hormozi, my biggest takeaway from that mastermind session was the dirty four-letter word work. Do more of the work. All my strategy is around doing more of what I'm currently doing and do it as good as I can. Like, so I think if you took one thing away, it'd be like, bro, you got to just put the work in. I think that's the TLDR of it.
Yeah, there's like some weird, ego thing or like misconception that since we're in the AI niche and there's a lot of automation and stuff, that somehow you don't have to put in any work. Like there's this entitlement I see from quite a bit of people, I mean, maybe more than you would expect, that they expect to just like get some solution, download some one program, and suddenly they're making money with AI. Like, no, you have to work every day, take actions, because there is no way to make money without taking actions. Like, even in the AI space where you can automate lots of things and save a bunch of time, you still have to do stuff to make money.
You do. It's like automations and service of what? Like a big one I've seen recently is in the YouTube automation space. I'd be interested to pick your brains because David, you did a Minecraft channel before this. I've been doing YouTube now for 2 years. Like someone once described to me like, okay, if you want to go on YouTube, there's something you need to understand. It says valley of death. The first valley of death is getting started. About 99% of people never, ever get their first video done. That's the first valley of death. The second one is you get a little bit of success, then you plateau. And then you lose loads of people at the plateau where they don't pivot.
I think there's one before that.
What would you say before that?
I mean, dude, it took me like 2 years to see success. So I would say there is a big
You
value
gotta
of
stick with it.
before
You gotta be
seeing any
consistent.
success. I was uploading
I
for
think-
like 2 years consistently before I blew up on my Minecraft channel. So there is no most people. If you frame it like this, right, Jack, I'm gonna give you a 9 to 5 job. I'm not gonna pay you for 2 years. Also, you have to work a different job because this one doesn't pay. So this is your second full-time job. You know, I'm not gonna pay you for 2 years, maybe longer. Doesn't know how many people would accept that. Nobody, right? So
No,
that is the
no.
big value of dev. Even those people who finally break through the friction and start uploading, so many of them never get to that 100th video or whatever. They just like upload 3 videos, 4 videos. I got 15 views. Forget it, man. It's like,
It's so true. It's like I always say, like your day job keeps the lights on, and then your evenings and your weekends is when you build the next thing. And the crazy
Yeah.
thing about YouTube growth is it isn't like this. You'll actually get all of the rewards at the end. Like
the end.
I wish that it
Yes.
was. I do a video, I get it. Like I have videos. I'm just wondering if you think the same. Honestly, when I published them, I was like, bro, there's no way this is not going to go viral. And I spent ages editing it. Complete and utter failure. And I was like, okay, cool. What did I learn? Sweet.
Yeah.
Now on to the next one. Bro, you've got to be ruthlessly consistent with it. But if you just keep on stacking those like values, eventually you smash it. I think it's the same like now. Like we probably only understand a fraction of it, but we keep learning, we keep pushing. But most people
Yeah.
won't do the 2 years of effort. That's the reality of it. It's what it takes.
yeah, exactly. I mean, last year I was literally paying 2 different editors to post like super well edited like documentary style videos every week, and they got like 1K views. You know, and I was doing that for like 3 months straight, paying 2 different editors from the money I saved up from my gaming channel. But how many people would willing to do that? So like, you know, people have to be patient with this make money stuff. It takes the skills to build up, and instead of trying to blow up with your next video, instead of trying to, you know, sell that perfect client on the first try, focus on developing your skills and stacking it up. Like, get a little bit better at sending cold emails, at doing sales calls, at creating thumbnails. It's those skills that really matter in the long run.
I agree, bro. I mean, I'm just looking at your YouTube channel right now, and like, you go really simple on the thumbnails. Like, especially when I thought about editing, and people watch subscribers of this channel know, I went way over the line with editing. I went so deep into sound design. I brought it back to like 20%. Like my editing's super basic now because I think if
Yeah, same.
you're either entertainment or you're education, and if you're education, you don't need all the whiz bangs and the crazy edits and stuff. It's just if it isn't making the content more valuable, it needs to go. I'm kind of glad for that because when I see YouTube channels that are heavy on the entertainment or very editing heavy, I know what that takes, and I know how time consuming and expensive that is. Like, and just to get a video out, like people don't appreciate. Even if it flops, like the amount of effort that requires is ridiculous. And you only really appreciate it when you start making videos.
Yeah, I mean, it was 14 days for me of full-time work to make one video on the Minecraft channel, right? So it's completely
Wow.
different game, entertainment and education. And actually, I have the same experience in education. You know, when I dialed back the amount of editing and, you know, clips, cuts, fancy effects, music, when I dialed it back, my views increased. And I think that's because the AI audience is much more mature and they don't care about all that stuff. They want a, you know, valuable video rather than fancy editing.
That's very true. That is very true. And actually, I think this leads me on to YouTube automation. So we had a gent called Anik come into our community to talk about making money with YouTube automation. He made the distinction straight away, and it'd be interesting what you think about this, which is that it isn't about some crazy machine that will spit out the content. It's about automating something that already actually works. And in my opinion, if somebody said to me, Jack, I want to create an income niche X, what should I do? My first answer would not be YouTube automation. My first answer would be you should make content with you in it, because I feel having a brand and having you bring a certain level of charisma and energy to the table that no one else on the planet does. So you should go make content for your audience. And I believe focus on getting your first 1,000 loyal soldiers. So I made the point, the founder of, what was it called now? Patreon, which is quite similar to school actually. He did something, he said like, when, I never saw the video or not, but the TLDR of it is, when YouTube started, it was all about subscriber and the creator. And you'd basically get the content that you subscribe to. Awesome. Then the algorithms came about. How do we maximize average view duration on the platform, right? So what it was is like, we don't really care if it's a subscriber or not. We just want to match you with the thing that's going to keep the most serotonin boost and keep you sticking on platform. So we've lost that subscriber and creator relationship. And actually, if you could get to a position where you have 1,000 soldiers, 1,000 loyal fans that will follow you wherever you want, and theoretically you could give them value for $100 a year, that's like a six-figure income for you. And actually getting 1,000 loyal followers over like a vanity metric of like 1 million, because I know plenty of people on TikTok that have hundreds of thousands that aren't even making, they couldn't even buy coffee with what they make. Like, it's absolutely crazy. So I think you should index more on the quality over the quantity, because not all subscribers, views, and followers are made equal.
I mean, I told this to you offline, but I think you are a beautiful example, right? Like, you are making more money than a lot more popular channels. Why? Because you're providing a lot more value to your audience, right? Like, you're telling them how to automate parts of their life, parts of their business. There's a channels that are just posting content like, this someone said on Twitter, this is the news, and they're not adding value to their viewers, so they don't have that. They might have like 500,000 subscribers, but they don't have 1,000 loyal fans. And that's really the key to monetization. And I absolutely agree that the strategy is not, posting thousands of shorts that are like mass produced. People who want to do YouTube automation, which absolutely can work, there's plenty of faceless channels that are making plenty of money. They fail to understand that the YouTube skill is still required. The AI channels that are making hundreds of thousands a month, I mean, the faceless channels, right? The automated channels, the people who are running them, they have mastered the art of retention. They can spot a great video idea right away. They know what a great thumbnail looks like. And then they automate it. It's not like, they've automated that and the automation somehow produced, knowledge in their brain. They still have that skill, which is always required. So you can, generate thousands shorts with some automation, but if you cannot pick out the 2 shorts that are actually great, good luck.
That's such a good point. It's a skill. Like, one of the techs we're looking at is like the deepfake stuff, where you basically you talk. This is what I really wanted to understand about. Like, and it'd be interesting, people in the comments could let us know this. But if you want to do faceless YouTube, that's cool. Like, there's one where you can have like deepfake overlays. So it's you talking, you add like a photo, and it turns you into the image of that individual. And you can get funky with it by make like future lizard man, where you're a lizard and the background's like CoffeeZilla-esque, like it's all what's it. And you could do that because you can still bring through your mannerisms and build a connection as a character. I think I'd put that as like, if S tier is you, that would be like the next best thing rather than completely faceless. And there are channels I've seen that have like the Hey Gen style, when the body's like static and the head's like moving around a little bit. But I think if you could do something like that, that would be interesting. In fact, I might even do some content on that at some point, because I think that's quite an interesting alternative. But you're right, there's no way around getting the skills. I think like the way that I look at it, I take a step back, making money in AI, what is it? Any of the vehicles work, but you can do any of them, but you cannot do all of them. So you need to pick one of them and go very deep with it.
That's another mistake. Like, I'm sure you see that too. People always have like 10, 20 different ideas of things that they could do, but you cannot do them all. I mean, all of them you could make $1 million, right? There's literally thousands, tens of thousands of different niches and industries that have millionaires in them. But you have to focus on one thing and really become great at that thing. So I absolutely agree. And I actually think that the kind of deep fake videos, or like AI avatars, right? AI influencers, that is becoming much more valuable. I'm not sure if you've seen the Flux image generator, which is much more realistic than even Midjourney, combined with like Runway Gen 3. That already is producing some super impressive videos. And just, extrapolate that 3 months, 6 months from now, and it will be basically impossible to tell what is real and what is not. So I think faceless channels will be more like face channels with an AI avatar, probably.
Yes, and like, here's the thing about it as well, guys. I think like, if you're watching this video, you already are in like the 1%. Like most people don't even know. Like most people are at the kind of, oh yeah, I've heard of ChatGPT stage, which is super easy to forget. But I think when we get those quantum leaps in video development, I mean, like, it just takes one small unlock and the whole literal game changes. Which is why I think if you could be in any sector or any vertical, be in the vertical that's growing rapidly, which is AI. Like, that's it. And then you need to bring your superpowers to AI. Like, I even say, like, one of my good friends runs an MMA gym. awesome. Like, okay, great. Like, that's your superpower. But actually, if you can start stacking them together, you start to get these like incredible compounding benefits. And what's funny is like I spoke to a couple of business owners recently that are doing like 6 figures a month. And I sort of say, cool, what's your process for this? And like the amount of like gaps, guys, that like AI can fill is crazy. Like I'm telling you, like most people have literal no idea how to do this stuff. If you pick one thing, become incredible at it. And I've got a bit of a bone to pick with AI automations. Like for my group and like for some of my friends, I was running through like different AI automation businesses. And I was like, I pulled up like 5 websites. I said, cool, tell me, what do you see when I look at these websites? I won't pull them up on stream just to respect, but I said like they're doing web apps, they're doing no code, and there was like 20 different things they did, and it was all written in language for somebody who loves AI. And I was like, do not be the Swiss Army knife. You want to be you want to be one specific use case, and be the 100 problems we could solve. I solved problem 27, and I solved it better than anybody else on the planet. Like, don't be the Swiss Army knife. Be the really specific implement, and make your offer incredible, and make it really easy to understand. Because there's a lot of noise around the area, but I think if you could just do some of those basics, you'd get so much further than you'd even realize.
Yeah, but that takes patience, and so many people, they send out 5 cold emails or DMs, whatever, and they're like, it doesn't work. I think you need to commit to some specific niche or offer for like 3 to 6 months at least, right? Because as you said, many people think they have a great offer, but then somebody else's reader is like, this is not a great offer at all. Like the customer is taking all the risk, there is no guarantee, there is no scarcity, all of the basics that are most niches are missing. So a lot of people need to actually take a step back and not expect AI to solve all of their problems in the first 7 days, right? Just like if you stick with something for 6 months and actually work on it every single day, 2 hours a day at least, and taking action, not just watching videos, right? Then it is very high likelihood that you will see results. It will be very hard not to see results. But if you just like switch after week, 2 weeks, and you try something else, you're never building that momentum. It's those like half-built bridges, as Hormozi calls it.
I agree with that. And like taking a slight pivot then actually on some of the tech. So I've been looking a lot recently at Chrome extensions, or what I would call like AI co-pilots. So you made a good point earlier about how OpenAI promises these incredible technologies. Like, dude, have you realized how lame Siri is recently? Like, I don't know how difficult it is to get, but like if I'm like, hey Siri, like where's my laptop? Or hey Siri, boom. Like Siri, it's actually turning on right now. It's really funny. But like it basically like it rarely ever gets it right. Most people have it turned off. Like you should be able to say, hey Siri, send a text to blah blah blah, and it work, and it just doesn't do it. So my perspective on where I think a lot of innovation is, which is why I've done a couple of videos on it recently, around these AI co-pilots. In other words, AI that follows you around the internet and can solve things for you. So for example, you can do that via the Chrome extension functionality. So I built a video recently on what I call Truth Pilot, which is you're on internet, you highlight any text, and it will search and find out whether or not that claim is true and give you sources for it. Or summarize a YouTube video by pressing a button. And I had the script like correct like a summarize button. Dude, like I'm not joking when I say I use that every single day. Like every single day. You know when the video's taking too long? I'm like, dude, what is this video about? I hit the summarize button and it pops up. And I'm like, that is a interface that genuinely it's like I describe it as you put an Iron Man suit on. Like you're kind of like it just makes your browsing experience better. I'd be interested to know from your perspective if you've got models running on your laptop and how are you currently using like AI models? Like, are you using it in your browsing experience? How are you because it's different modalities. Because I think most people just stop what they're doing, they go to ChatGPT, and then they come back. I think this opens up a completely new way of doing things that's untapped at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to optimize that process. And again, the main thing is taking those small improvements on your process. So this is what people take for granted. They always want to solve like 4-hour task right away, but it's more like 5% efficiency there, here and there, right? Yep. So for example, I have a MacBook, which is top spec, so it allows me to run Llama 3.1 70B, which is the second biggest version. Obviously the 405B is like impossible to run on any consumer device, but the 70B is like really, really solid. And when I was on a plane, I didn't have internet, and I'm pretty sure I was the only one on that plane still able to use AI models, right? So that allowed me to like quickly, I think I was doing like title variations or something. That allowed me to have access to the model. But even if we take an extreme example, right? Let's say someone there had like a rare disease and suddenly it started like a reaction, allergic reaction, I could save their life with the AI model. If somebody else doesn't have the knowledge on how to treat that disease, if I have Llama 70B, I could do that. But in terms of practical use cases, right now I'm also using Agent Zero More, which is like a agentic, basically a complete autonomous agent developed by actually one of the guys in our community, which is cool. And you type a prompt. The difference between other AI agents, you don't have to do any setup, any configuration. You type the task and it starts doing it for you. It can fix its own errors and stuff like that. And that runs locally on my machine. Another thing I use is the new ChatGPT macOS app. So I just press Option Space and it instantly pulls up the type window. So I don't have to go to website, ChatGPT, type it in there. It's much faster. But within ChatGPT, I also have some cool GPTs. For example, I call it thumbnail snatcher. So I just paste a link from a YouTube video and it instantly gives me the full resolution thumbnail. I also have a Midjourney prompt writer that automatically uses the permutation prompt. So I say write 6 prompts about, whatever, flying cat, right? And it writes the permutation curly brackets already formatted in that. And when I put that into Midjourney, I instantly get 6 times 4, so 24 different images. So that saves me a ton of time. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to, save time here and there.
I think so. I think that's awesome. I like hearing his tech stacks. I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. I like your example on the plane. Like when we went to Vegas for the Hormozy thing, we bought the internet. I don't know why we bought it, man. Because it didn't work. I was like, this is terrible shock. And so actually, it would have been good to have the language model running locally on my laptop, I think, for entertainment purposes. Yeah, dude, I think that's good. I think, look, the models, for me, they seem much of a muchness. Claude, for me, edges out on a performance perspective. But I think what are the low-hanging fruits that you could really drive? I think it's more on the ways in which you interact with the technology. I don't think vision is being explored as much as it could do. I think, and I don't see many automations on that space at the moment. So I think stuff that you get automations working on your phone, like blah, 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 voice command. So I worked at the UK's largest energy company, and they had a tech division in there, which was household appliances. And this household appliance could control your heat. It could control everything in your home. And what you had to do to control it is get your phone up and say, great, what temperature do I want? And then you would select it. What they realized is that people don't want to have to get their phone out. They just want to say, hey, turn the heat up to X and put Y on there. So removing those touch points of friction are critical. So I think vision's cool. One of my friends who did a PhD in AI, he was working in computer vision. Now he's bounced to move over to pharmaceuticals because I guess he thinks that's more important, which I suppose it probably is, to be fair. But I really like the use cases of how you can inject AI into non-obvious ways that you're not currently using it. Because most people are just on the app or on the thing. If you can bring it into your browser, it's a complete game changer, in my opinion. And you can make anything you want to. I can't believe enough people aren't looking at this.
Yeah, I think once OpenAI releases the voices, which were also announced 3 or 4 months ago, that will unlock the era of voice agents, right? Because now a lot of the stuff is still obviously robotic sounding, but once you have those new GPT-4o voices that sound super realistic, can change how fast they speak, can change the dramatic, tone, whatever, that will unlock so much possibility because you can, say a business needs to hire an extra person because they're getting a lot of inbound calls. Well, hiring a receptionist, that's what, 40K a year? Putting in an AI agent, that could be 10% of that cost or even less, right? So again, if people get a bit more in creativity and actually talk to the customers, because you just said the perfect way to find what to do. You talk to people making 6 figures a month and you spotted multiple automations that could be in place. People mostly take the exact opposite approach. They try to invent stuff in their head instead of talking to real, customers. It could be business owners, it could be employees, doesn't matter. But talk to real people, and once you hear oh, they're doing this manually. Oh, in this company, somebody literally spends 4 hours a day manually converting PDFs to a different file format. I could build an AI agent to do that in 5 minutes. Once you see those real use cases, you can approach that business with maybe a demo, maybe some limited use case so that they cannot just steal it. Maybe you do a message cap of 10 messages. Basically, you show them that you've done it, not just talk about it, right? Show, don't tell. And it'll be very likely that they will pay you because you actually did it. And it's something they need. It's not some invented service that you came from thin air. It's something they're doing that's taking a lot of time for them, a lot of cost. and you can automate that. So that is the process of finding what to do.
I actually could not agree more with that. And I think like on this subject of making money with AI, that is the best way to get started. Like, don't think about what cool AI thing could I do. Think about what problem could I solve, and then pick the best tools from your toolkit to solve that. And one of those might be AI.
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing is this, guys. Like, you could like. So you and I talk about this YouTube, right? We both get lots of emails for thumbnail designers.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
currently looking for a thumbnail designer.
Oh my God.
And like none of them,
I hate
like
those emails.
nobody ever says nobody. I never get an email that says, "Jack, love the channel. I think your CTR could be higher. Here's 3 really high quality thumbnails. Have them on me. I hope they bless you. I think you'll kill it."
Nobody.
Dude.
Nobody.
That guy's getting hired
Crazy.
like immediately, like, but they don't. And it's the same
Nobody
with this
does that.
AI thing. Like I'm talking to
Yeah.
with the community at the moment, and one of the things they want to do is like think about how they can automate various different processes. And I was like, there's so many ways you could do that. But if you were trying to, I mean, I'm not trying to get clients at the moment, but if you were trying to, you could easily do the work without having the work and say, dude, like, by the way, did you realize you could automate all of these conversations? I built like these agents that have completely emulated your tone of voice based on all the data I've extracted. I built in this sales framework and blah, blah, blah. It sounds just like you. Here are 10 examples, just have it. Like, I mean, like, I call it the whale strategy. Go deep on a few. Like, do you know what I mean? If you're getting like 30K
Yeah.
clients, you can afford to spend a day on it. You don't need everyone to hit. You just need 1 out of 30 to hit. And it's like, this is the thing that most people don't execute on, that feels the most obvious. But you only really get it when you see it. When you see people doing the value bit, then it really becomes obvious. But I feel like it's the most lowest hanging fruit everyone's got at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let me ask you the same question. Like, what are some of the things you've seen people do that, might be a small automation, but actually made them money?
Do you mean what they've sold?
Yeah.
So, okay,
what they
cool.
solve,
So here's a good example. So I did a competition in my community, which is make your first AI dollar. You could do it in teams or individuals. One group did a voice AI coach, where basically you would set out the purpose, and then this voice AI would call you and say, "Hey, David, what's up? How's it going?" And then you would basically they had these really cool prompts in the background, and it'd be an incredible conversation you could have, and you could like talk about anything, and it could replace therapists. It could be, I mean, you can imagine the possibilities. They made 2K. They made literally over $2,000 in less than 30 days from an idea, strangers, concept, 2K, less than 30 days.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because at the end of the day, it comes back to execution, right? Like, I'm pretty sure you see it too. The people who are getting most results are the ones actually not speculating, like, yeah, I don't know, I have these 3 different niches, like, I don't know which one to target. They just pick one and go after it, right? And it's funny that you mentioned this, like, this is amazing. I would not have predicted that, right? Something relatively simple for $2,000. Like, people always think you need to solve cancer or do some like crazy thing, right? It doesn't have to be that. And yeah, I mean, it's really impressive. At the end of the day, it's actually practical use cases, solving real problems that exist, and not trying to invent new stuff. It's
I
really
agree, and
boring
go
stuff.
very niche. Go very, very niche. Like you
Because,
should go.
that's the thing. You can build an agent, and if it's specific for one problem, you already have it built. Or an automation, same stuff, right? If you build a specific automation, and you know that problem in and out more than the company that has it, you can use that demo to get other clients. And you have like built 90% of the work, and then 10% of some like extra personalization, customization, right? But if you really focus and solve one problem that is real and exists, you can build it up front and then just resell the same thing to others. It's really amazing.
It is, and I had a guy reach out to me. He said, "Dude, like I am incredible at YouTube ads. I think you're leaving a lot of money on the table." And he said, "I would love to come and do your YouTube ads, and I will do that for free. And the reason I'm doing it for free is because I want a cool testimonial from somebody on school." And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds a great idea. Let's." But I think there was what struck. Whenever I say yes to an email, I'm in the habit now of taking a step back and saying why. Like, what was it about that email? And I think it was the fact that displayed competence, yes. Value, yes.
Yeah.
Clear, short email. But also his intentions were clear. Like, it wasn't a sell. And to be fair with you, if someone says that to you, David, and you say, "David, I think I can add like 50% to your income. I think. I want to do it for free because I want a cool testimonial." You'd be like, "Well, there's no risk, right? No risk. So you do it." But if he comes in and kills it, you're probably going to hire him anyway. You're going to be like, "Dude, yeah, like obviously, like You've done it for free. Sweet. Let's just get you paid. Like the people that come and really understand their niche and add the value, you often find ways that you're just trying to give that person money because they've just killed it so well.
But sometimes even the "I'll do it for free" is not enough. Like Warren Buffett has that famous story when he came to his mentor and he wanted to work for him because he was a famous investor, and he said, "I'll work for free," and the mentor told him, "You're overpriced." And a lot of those emails are the same way because they don't have that competence, and they I mean, me and you, we're no like celebrities or there are people much more successful than us. But still, if somebody has zero experience, they will get a lot just working for us and observing how we operate, right? So they're getting free education, plus eventually they're expected to be paid. So working for free is not enough, and there are many people who said like, "I'll do it for free." What matters, as you said, like displaying some sort of competence, making it personalized, making it actually showing that you watch the channel, not just like sending like a title and like your video title was good. Like no, just watch a few videos, comment on some shows, comment on some joke that was made on minute 27 that most people miss. That's how you get attention of somebody.
I could not agree more with that, because it's also like, even if there is a plus estimated value in the relationship, I have so many other higher leverage things that require my attention. Like it has to be so no-brain
it's
to do.
not free.
Like,
it takes attention and mental power from.
Ted, the other interesting one, bro, is like people that pitch you saying, "I want to come do ads for you," or "I want to come do X." I'm like, okay, cool. Or like, okay, here's a good one, guys. I want to help. I can help you reduce your churn. Awesome. And I said, "Oh, sounds cool." I have a look. They're not even in my group. They're not even paying $50 for the group or $67 for the group. And I'm like, now when I say, "Dude, are you in the group?" and they're like, "No." And it's like, "Oh, you're just trying to get." No, dude. It's like, it shows that they're committed. Like it shows they're actually interested, and like how you would know the answers to all these questions if you're in the group. And it's also an interesting one, like psychologically, like if you're not prepared to invest like $67, $50, or what's your group at the moment, David? Like 97 or something, whatever it is.
I upped it. Yeah, whatever.
It's going up, whatever it is, right? If you're not prepared to invest that amount of money, like you need a filtering process, because you get 10 of these DMs a day. What that says is, dude, I'm serious. Like, but if you get a message from someone in your group that says, "Dude, I love this community. I've been part of this community for a while. Here are 5 things I think you could do today to improve your churn." Have it. You're like, "Oh my gosh, who is this guy? Who is this girl? What's going on?" But like, it's a big indicator. Like they're not prepared to put in a small amount of effort, because I feel like when you're busy, you're looking for those little like niche cases that set you apart from somebody else. And especially when you're getting 20 messages about it, you need those little differentiators. And some people are like, "That's crazy to expect." I'm like, well, yeah, because I think the opportunity is huge. I think it's reasonable.
Yeah, and if they want to get hired for like position that pays like 4, 5, 6K a month, spending that $50, $100 is not a crazy investment. And believe me, like me and you, it's not. We don't even think like, "Oh, we made one less sale today." It's not. After you get like hundreds of clients, that's not even on your mind. So it shows that if somebody says like, I will reduce your churn," but they're not in the community, how do you want to reduce my churn? Like you have no idea what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. It's like out of thin air. So that's the point you're making, and yeah, it's true. People need to
that's very well said. It's not about the money. Yeah, it's literally not. But it's about like commitment. But I think like you extrapolate that principle. Like if let's say you wanted to work for Alex Hormozi said recently, "Dude, if you just made shorts for us without us asking, and you had 100 of them, and you're there every day for like 100 days, you're probably going to get hired." Like, why? Because you're outworking people and you're just like showing up and doing it. And I think like if you are starting at day 0, the cool thing about starting at day 1 is you are completely untethered. You can go in any direction you want to. You can do any business you want to. You've literally got the world at your feet, which I think is a superpower. When you go down a route, you're kind of committed. You got to see it through. But if you're somebody at day 0, dude, lean into that. That's epic. That's amazing. And you can literally pick anything and drive into it. But this, I think, like the other one, I guess, is like solving rich people problems because they pay better. I think is also like true, and you're constantly trying to buy your time back. And if you can legitimately solve a problem for somebody that is like, "Oh my gosh, that's a complete no-brainer," people will pay for that. Like I don't think sales are hard to get. I think getting sales from people that don't have money is difficult. But if you're solving problems, People want to give their money away for problems. That's a big misconception. There is like I would love to give money away to solve the certain problems I've got. I'd be like, please take these off my hands. I want to give you money for it, but like you just have to come and solve the problem. That's and it sounds oversimplified, but I think bringing it back to the basics is key, dude. And I think a lot of people want to make money with AI, but these principles will set you on the right track, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's two points I really want to hit on because, I absolutely agree with everything you just said, Jack. Sell to people who have money. Sounds obvious, right? I think the sell to rich people, that's like next step. But when you're getting started, people just want to make sure that the person you're targeting can afford, 500 a month, 1K a month, whatever. Or just one-time payment. Extreme example, I've heard somebody, I won't name who, was trying to like plan some service for like, tribes in Amazon, in Brazilian Amazon. It's like, bro, these people don't even have the concept of money. Like, how are you going to monetize this, right? And it's an extreme example, but a lot of people do targeting people who are unemployed. It's like probably not the best idea, right? So just make sure you're selling to people who have the disposable income to buy your service or product. And then another thing you highlighted is that mentality of willing to go through it, right? And I think a lot of people, I don't know what your demographics for your community is, but in my community, a lot of people are in their 40s, 50s, even 60s. And the biggest mindset disadvantage they have is that they no longer want to work hard or think they don't have to work hard, that they've already did it, right? So it's like, oh, I'm already in my 50s, I've been through that. I just want to do something that takes me 3 hours a week to do. I'm like, you're not going to make it. There's some 18-year-old that's super hungry, that's grinding all day long, that, has bigger brain plasticity because younger people learn faster, that's going to demolish you. It's no way somebody thinks that, they're just going to put in 2 hours on the weekend, every other weekend, and just make it. That does not exist. So if people are listening that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s that do want to make money, you have to reset that and become young again mentally and get that drive in you, because otherwise you're going to get destroyed by somebody who doesn't mind working.
That is beautifully said. I think that's true. I think yeah, and you can do that in something you're passionate about as well. The goal, in my opinion, and we touched on this before, retirement and weekends, I think, are cultural fabrications that we should remove. And the reason I say that is the weekend presupposes, thank God it's Friday, oh God it's Monday. Ideally, you do something that is enriching and that you genuinely love, whereas a Saturday feels like a Wednesday and a Tuesday feels like a Sunday. But it's tough to do that when you're starting out. But I think, guys, if you do have that Monday to Friday, keep the lights on, and then leverage your evenings and weekends, and you do it consistently for 7 years, in 7 years, you're going to be in a completely different perspective. Genuinely speaking, that's how I got my first business off the ground. Is I did my day job during the day, and then I started building during the evenings and weekends. And that was it, because it wasn't possible otherwise. It could not have been done. Otherwise, I'd never recommend quitting your job and just risking it, because I think what that forces you to do is be in income generation mode when you need to be in build and learn mode, and it takes the pressure off you. So and here's the other thing about, I believe, the entrepreneur's journey, and this is just what I've learned. I think if you go down 2 videos down, you might hear a different story from somebody else, but I think it's disproportionate effort to disproportionately small rewards, and then eventually it's disproportionate rewards to disproportionately small effort. But what's changed is you've just stacked all the skills over a long enough period of time. Well, yeah, seen that problem before, that's cool. But you've got to build up that toolkit over a period of time. And I never ever want I advise people I would do my best friend. And my best friend said, I want to make money and be an entrepreneur. I'd say, dude, it's unlikely going to do that immediately. If you do, incredible use case, I'm sure you're awesome. But dude, you got to stack the failures up. You got to put the investment in and be consistent. Here's the great news though. Most people are not consistent. Most people will quit very soon. So just remember that. This is where most people quit. Just keep stacking up with W's. You'll have those emotional highs. I mean, bro, you probably had it. I've had it with business before where there's a deal and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, this deal, it's going to change everything, man. And then the deal doesn't go through or something crazy happens. And then you learn from it and you move on to the next thing. So if it sounds like everything's gone wrong, incredible. That's just a lesson you've learned. And then move on to the next thing. So I would always emphasize the mindset. And I want to be realistic about, if someone says to you, you can go from 0 to millionaire in a month, no. I don't think that's a healthy way to look at it. Think about your skills. If you show me your habits your inputs over the next 30 days, I'll show you what your outputs are. You tell me what you're going to be doing, I'll tell you what your bank balance probably looks like.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why I'm focused on taking people from $0 to $1,000, because I truly believe anybody can do that. Not anybody
Yes.
can make, as you said, $100,000 a month. It takes a certain level of commitment and ingenuity to get that. But $1,000 a month, come on. It takes like 1 or 2 clients solving a specific problem. If you know how to do the inputs, if you can do 2 hours a day worth of work, you will get there sooner or later. Some people might get there in 14 days, some people might take 2 or 3 months. But if you don't quit, it will get there. And it's, to your point, Jack, mindset really is the foundation. And I think that's why starting early is kind of an advantage, because you can shape your mindset much easier. It's much harder when you spend like 20, 30 years in the 9-to-5 grind to kind of flip it and suddenly feel like it's possible making money online. And as you said, like retirement, weekends, there's so many concepts in the society that work against you. Another one is work-life balance. It separates work and life and like makes it enemies, right? Ideally, you have a great life that's integrated with a great job that you love doing. If you hate what you're doing and you're like looking at the clock, oh my God, I can't wait for the day to be over. That's like, what kind of a life is that? No, work and life should not be put on different sides of the equation. It's, your work should enhance your life and your life should enhance your work.
That's beautiful, dude. I mean, it's like, for example, when I say I'm trying to deconstruct the weekend, I'm trying to do that. So like on Wednesday, for example, I'd be like, okay, cool. Well, let's just take Thursday off and go do something epic. But it's like, I think if you do separate them in your mind, I think it makes it more difficult for you. And like, you're right, getting your first $1,000 feels really achievable. What I think the case is, getting 0 to 10K is really difficult, but then 10 to 20 to 30 is easier than 0 to 10. Because
Obviously,
your skill set of getting to 10K is one thing, but once you're at 10K, it's easier to like bump it up. I don't know why that's the case, but the skill differential between someone making 10K and 100K is not that high. It really
I think
isn't.
it's momentum, just it's like
It's
same with
doing more
going to the
of
gym.
what- yeah. If
Same with
you've got
going
a
to the gym.
scalable vehicle,
Like-
it's usually scale actually. The skill, I think, like that's in my opinion, the difference between someone making 10K and 100K is scale. Like you could get to 10K in a low leverage scale vehicle, but if you've got scalability and you can say, great, I put £1 in the top and £2 comes out, then you will be able to 10x it.
Yeah, I think that like the 0 to 1K, 0 to 10K, it's really that first habits, like taking action consistently, right? The reason I wanted to use the gym example is because at the start, the technique doesn't matter at all. Even like the exercises don't matter. What matters is just showing up to the gym, right? Like if I had to take somebody new to the gym, I would let them do like 3 reps with like the bar and not even let them go close to failure, because they're gonna, feel soreness and they're never gonna show up again. I've experienced that so many times where people just try to work out hard on the first workout and then like they're destroyed for the next 2 weeks, right? So it's the same right here. Don't try to put like an all-nighter day one. Just, again, set aside 60 minutes a day, 2 hours a day, and just slowly build up your skills and build up the consistency of showing up. Because at the start, that's really all that matters. Like you're not gonna have a bicep veins after 3 months of going to the gym. What matters is building that habit, going like twice a week, 3 times a week, doesn't matter. After a year, you will start seeing results. But at the start, it's really all about showing up and just doing that consistently.
I agree with that. And the other bit I would add to that, guys, is that I think your circle makes a big difference. So they often say you are the average of your 5 closest friends. They also say that your income is the average of your 5 closest friends' income. That's when I heard that, I stopped. I was like, hang on a sec. And I thought about it and I was like, is that true? And I was like, I think it is true. Because you'll know, like, I remember in 2017, or actually no, if I get to uni, one of our friends got a grad scheme job. Now, bear in mind, dude, we're uni students, right? We're living on like 70 quid a week, dude. We're like, it's crazy. And one of our friends got a grad scheme offer for £30,000 a year. And we were like, oh my goodness. Like, we couldn't believe it. We were all like, that is, but since he got it, that became the standard. He was like, well, that's it. Obviously, we all need to get grad schemes for 30K then, right? Well, obviously, we have to. And it lifted everybody up, because once you saw someone else do it, you're like, well, I can do that. And then all of a sudden, and I see this happen everywhere. The second that one person makes a leap in a friendship group, you'll notice like everyone else starts doing it. And it's also the same, like, let's say you want to get in shape and cut. You try to get 10% body fat when every single one of your friends is really overweight and doesn't go to the gym, it's like you would need, I don't know, like I think it's so difficult. So I think your circle is really important, and I think you have to like take a look at your surroundings and just remember the influence that has on you.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody, like, to use that same example, if somebody lives in a house with like 4 other overweight people and all of their friends are overweight, the best thing you can do is not go to the gym and get a gym membership. The best thing you can do is move to the other side of the country and, get a new friend group, join some, BJJ gym, whatever. You do also MMA, right? So like join a group of people that are already fit and try to get those habits from them. Because nothing, like, if you have people that are putting it down like, oh, you can't make money online. AI is just a fad, it doesn't work. Making money with AI, come on, man. Nobody can do it. It's like, if those are the thoughts that are coming into your head, you're just fighting an uphill battle. And by the way, you are the average of your 5 friends. This also applies to online friends, right? Ideally, you would like to have them in real life, but a lot of people can't. That's why being in those communities is so essential. You see other people having success with AI. You see people making money, successfully automating, successfully building agents, and that inspires you and shows you it's possible. Like, that's real benefit, not just having access to us. It's seeing people just like you get results. Seeing a new member that joined maybe after you with zero coding experience, and suddenly they're posting about their first AI agent or like how they made $750 a month. That's amazing.
I could not agree more. It's really beautifully said, bro. And I think the other 2 bits I'll add, like, one is that I saw a podcast recently with Tim Ferriss and the modern day philosopher guy. What's that guy called? Chris Williamson. And they talked about a really good concept, which was that, like, when you're deciding on opportunity, pick the one where even if you fail, you still win. And the idea with that is that, like, okay, let's say that, like, if you got 3 options, right? You go for business B. Even if business B fails, you will have traveled the world, you will have made 20 new connections in this incredible industry, and on top of that, you would have learned all these other transferable skills, which means that you're still so much further ahead for the next thing that you want to do. And it's like, I thought that was a really beautiful concept where you almost like you're stacking benefits and wins behind your decisions. And I was like, dude, that's like, I have to do that. That's like such a good way of thinking about it.
I think that's the definition of the AI space, to be honest. Even if somebody, quote unquote fails with their AI business and doesn't make money on the first try, you've already learned priceless skills that are going to become even more valuable in the years to come. There is no other industry that anybody can name that's going to grow as fast as AI. So, again, even if you've built some automation, some agent, and you didn't, on the first try, second try, you didn't make money, guess what? You have skills that you didn't have before, and those skills are going to pay so many dividends over the next 5 years. People always look at today, like, what can AI agents do today? What can LLMs do today? Guys, look into the future. 3 months, 6 months, 2 years from now. That's where the real value lies. Being prepared for the future and not trying to catch up at the last minute once GPT-6 releases and it's really good. That's going to be too late. You have to get the skills now so that you can reap the benefits in the future while everybody else is just, oh, AI, I've heard about that. No, you already have to be have the 1,000 hours in.
I agree. I love how your phone started beeping off when you said GPT-6. Like, someone was like, David, cut it. Stop telling about GPT-6. Get it out of here. Dude, brilliant. I think, yeah, dude, this has been a really good conversation. And, like, I didn't expect it to go in this direction, but actually I think it's valuable because, like, this, for me, is, I guess, just a really candid, honest debrief on our thoughts about what, based on all the 6-figure entrepreneurs we've met in the past 3 months, what is the stuff we've seen that's working? Like, and it's that, like, guys, if it was something else, I'd tell you, I genuinely would. But, like, that is my God's truth, honest opinion on what I've seen and what seems to be working. And I think, like, if it sounds simple, awesome. It's great. Like, I think that's fantastic and something to take on board. I think with our conversations, David, like, it's going to be interesting to see, like, the stuff that we can cover. Like, every week we'll probably have a different theme. We'll figure that out as we go. And we will espouse the beliefs that we are talking about, which is that, like, fail quickly, have fun, conversations, iterate, and just have a good rock and roll and good time, man. So I think it's been a really good conversation, bro. Is there anything you want to add as we wind this beautiful coffee-driven conversation down?
Yeah, I think you've summarized it well, Jack. And I think we both have a similar goal of trying to show people not only the power of AI, but also that AI can really be the thing that gets you that first $1,000, $2,000 and making that as simple as possible. I think we both share the same goal. And, at the end of the day, all the people that are successfully making money right now, all of them take action. So if people don't take action and they just, consume content, sorry, it's not going to happen.
Agreed. And so, I guess, if you're somebody who does want to own the AI, what was one action step you could take away? For me, it would be take one step today. You can do one of two things, right? Tell people your product exists, make your product better. Try to do one of those two things today. Tell somebody, have something someone can buy or learn something good. Try to take an action positive step after this conversation. Just do one thing. Shoot a moonshot. Dude, if you shoot 100 moonshots a month and 5% land, that's 5 moonshots. How cool is that? So I'd say take a bias for action and have fun, and obviously drink as much coffee as you can. So on that beautiful note, thanks guys. David, good catching up, and we'll see you on the next episode.